Well, good morning, guys, and welcome to the BBX weekly sales call, where we cover everything digital, including the NowSite platform, as well as today we're launching BBX University. And what it'll be is it'll be a combination of digital media, but then it'll be also other projects that Mike and Charles have me working on. So, for example, Mike and I talked yesterday, and I started some work on it last night on annuities. So I started writing a drip email campaign for annuities last night, Mike, for you guys. And because with everything that's going on in the market right now, as Mike expressed to me yesterday, man, everybody's like getting hot on annuities already because they want to get out of the market and they want to park their money someplace safe. And, I know that. I mean, I talked to several people over the last week who have been just working like jackrabbits to get their money moved all over the place. And I said, well, I think you should have been talking to guys like I talked to all the time about 2 months ago about getting this stuff moved over and doing stuff because you can see it coming, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better with I guess Chairman Powell saying yesterday he's going to put it up another 3/4 of a point here next month again. So try and slow this economy down a little bit.
Slow this. Still got an echo, Steve.
Frank, I got you turned off because you're still echoing a lot. Okay, there we go. And so we're going to try and get ahead of stuff like that. So we're actually building. I'm almost finished with the life one, and I know Charles and Mike have been working on the Kazan stuff and getting the email, making sure the drip email campaign is good for that to go, and we'll be ready to go to export that for you guys. And when we do that, what we'll do is we'll do a little session on that when we launch these projects on Thursday, and we'll show you how to go in, do what you need to do if I haven't already done it for you, and doing those things or any other type of needs you do. So one of the things that I really want you guys to do is, I know everybody's shy. I know I get this way too when I'm on a bunch of webinars. I don't really like to raise my hand or ask a lot of questions. But if you've got something you need help with or a question, don't be afraid to shoot me something offline. Let me know, and if I can't handle it, I will find somebody who can, and we'll get you guys squared away. More importantly, as I spoke with a lot of you over the last month and a half, my goal is to get you guys to where you understand the fundamentals and how to implement. And that's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. It always does. Um, but Frank and I were talking about this the other day, and I'm just so proud of Frank because Frank has gone from basically, like I said a couple of times, kicking this thing to the curb, where now he's getting, he gets on and he's starting to show me all the way around the site and what he's doing and how he's getting it figured out and how he's going to move forward. And he's actually strategizing using the software where he wasn't there at all 8 weeks ago. So, um, so I got to say, if Frank can do it, everybody can do it. I mean, it's just a matter of learning and doing this. So one of the things I want to do over this morning is I was going to go very simply again over the sales flow because they're getting ready to make a couple more changes in it again. I think those announcements are going to happen in Houston this evening at the event when Justin's here with Cheryl Coco. And I'm going to do as much as I can to either videotape that or get pictures of it or stuff like that. And I'll start posting some of that stuff so you guys can go take a look at it. And then if you have questions, again, like I said, just reach out and let me know. Um, one of the things we're going to do again, like I said this morning, is I'm going to pull up sales flow. And I'm going to do that right now. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Okay. So one of the things that constantly, that NowSite does, which is not good, but they're nerds and I understand it, but they're constantly making changes and they don't really let us know when they make changes. All of a sudden I'll be on here and I'll go, what's that? Where did that come from? And then I'll be on a call on a NowSite corporate call, and somebody else in the call will bring it up, and then Justin or Cheryl will go, oh, by the way, that's what this is. and do that. So one of the things that is going to happen is back here, when I open up search criteria right here, somebody beeping me here for a second. I'm going to turn my phone off. Okay. So what they're going to do in here is when you get to advanced targeting, here, it's going to even go farther down. And what it's going to do is have an import mechanism where you're going to be able to, if you have a LinkedIn account and you have people on your LinkedIn account, it is going to go into your LinkedIn account and it's going to export those contacts from your LinkedIn account. And then what it's going to do is it's going to put it in your contact management system. And then you're going to be able to pull it up just like any other prospect. Let me go here on the contacts over here, which is the guy with the little plus sign. And so when I pull them in, they'll appear as a contact that's been imported. So what I'm probably going to only get is I'm probably only going to get their phone number, their LinkedIn account, and maybe an email address. So what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to, and I'm going to find this out from Justin tonight because I'm meeting with Justin this afternoon for half an hour to talk to him about some of this stuff, is that you'll be able to enhance those contacts from LinkedIn so you can get the same amount of information as you normally do when you get an enhancement like this. And this is an enhancement I did yesterday, which was pretty cool. I get about one of these every 10 that I bring in. But you're going to see when I brought this gal in, I got her phone number, I got her Facebook account, I got her Twitter account, I got LinkedIn, I got all this information, including her birth date, where she lives. But I also got her interests and then also her skills. But I got hobbies. I now know what she does for hobbies. I also know what she likes to read. I also know what kind of sports she's interested in. I also know what kind of music she likes. I also know she has diet concerns. I also know that she's religious. And I've also got her household and financial information. And I even know now that she owns a cat and a dog. Her financial information, she has multiple bank cards. She has an active line of credit. She has multiple retail cards. She has a cash balance on her home of between 50 and 75,000. She's in the mid-range of discretionary income, and it looks like she's carrying a pretty good amount of financial debt. And it shows her net worth is about between 150 and $250,000. I can see that she's an online purchaser. I can see that there's no specific buying patterns. I can see when she went to college, what she majored in, and when she graduated. I can see where she works now. She's at Gwinnett County Public Schools. And I can see she's a substitute teacher. I can also see the neighborhood information that she actually, her neighborhood and what it looks like. So, I mean, this is like one of the most in-depth research and information about a potential client that I've ever seen on this. So, when you're using this data, so for example, for you guys that are insurance, so it seems like she's a substitute teacher, and But she's also in information and technology services. So I'm curious what the connection there is. Was she in information and technology services? Did she retire since she was born in 54? And now is she being a substitute teacher just to keep busy? And when you start looking at this information, that's what you have to start looking at. You have to start taking in this information and start drawing some conclusions, or at least pose some questions that you might be able to talk to her about. I mean, if she was just a teacher, then she might be a candidate to roll over um, her teacher retirement program into a annuity and doing that. So again, I'm going, okay, maybe a potential annuity client here and doing things. She's obviously old enough to be in Medicare, so maybe she's one that you maybe want to talk to her about. Is she on the right Medicare program if you're selling medical insurance and doing things like that? So, I mean, there's a lot of information to be garnered from the content when you get this and doing that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at another contact. And let's look at Lacey Moore. Now Lacey Moore, I don't have anywhere near the amount of information on her. I know that she's a partner at this technology company. She has a lot of skill sets, and she went to Texas A&M. Although here it says interest Texas A&M. Not that she goes, she just might be, a football fan, and she follows Texas A&M because education shows here that she went to Ben Junior College, which tells me that she has probably just an associate's degree in something. So what I would do is then, as I would go probably to find out a little bit more about her, I would copy her Facebook address, and I would go into her Facebook account and start seeing what she's posting and what she's interested about or what she's doing, and see how much how forbearing she is on Facebook or on Twitter and what she's doing. So one of the things that Mary and I are going to be doing this weekend is we're going to be shooting a video that's going to cover all this. Because too often what happens is this. You open up SalesFlow. You go ahead and you edit your criteria here. And then what you do is you say, okay, I'm good to go. I've got my stuff in there. Now I'm going to go find a prospect. So I'm going to click the Get Prospect SalesFlow here. And it's going to bring me up Tracy Rodriguez. Okay, and so I'm going to go view that contact now because I want to really know about Tracy. Okay, but what happens is a lot of people, what they do is they skip this step in doing the analysis to find out exactly who Tracy is. Now, one of the things that I've done now is what I do is I go ahead based on my search criteria. That's how I assigned a list here. And what I would do is put her on my prospects list here, because that's for digital media and what I'm looking for right now. And then what I would do is then I would launch SalesFlow. But what happens is most people don't even click the list. They go directly from the prospect and they launch SalesFlow. You're missing two key steps. One, reviewing the data to see if that person is actually a good prospect. And reading through the data, do you see how you can best leverage that information to start pitching them. Because then once I know that and I launch SalesFlow here, and I hit the magenta button here, launch SalesFlow, then I hit next. After reading the data, then I know, should I reach out to Tracy on LinkedIn? Should I reach out to Tracy on Messenger? Or should I send an email? You know, in this case, I would probably send an email. So I'm going to go ahead and send an email. And of course, here then pops up just a very generic message. It says common interests. I see we have a lot of common interests. Hoping to add you to my network. Thanks. Okay, that's okay. But what I really want to do is go to the message library, and I want to be a little bit more personable. Expanding my network. Hi there, I'm looking to expand my network with fellow professionals. I'd love to learn about what you do and see if there's any way we can support each other. Love that. Let's go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, it now has a teal box around it. That means that you've selected the content correctly. Then you're going to hit select. Okay, as you can see now that message is now in there. Now I'm going to want to personalize it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Steve Patterson. Now, I want to make sure that I know when she reads this message or he reads the message. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an attachment. And in this case, I would normally add, if I'm looking for affiliate marketers, I would add the SalesFlow Challenge attachment to it. But in this case, that's not what I'm looking to do. I'm just going to say, hey, I'm just learning about you. This is what I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attach it to my website right here. So he can learn, or she can learn, a little bit more about me. So I'm going to add that link, which you can see defaults wherever I left the cursor. Well, I don't want it next to my name, I want it below it. So there it is. So now I'm going to send it. And when I send it, when they get that, they'll get that link. If they open that link, then I will get an email from NowSite saying somebody looked at your website and read your message, alerting you that they've made contact. So let's go ahead and send that. And then it's going to give me the option of when I want to follow up with them. And what I'm doing is I'm building rapport. In the note, I'm going to say sent link to website. So I know. And I'm just going to let it default to 7 days. Although if I wanted to follow up on Monday, what I would have to do is hit the 20th like this. But we're going to go to the 23rd and let it do that. So then I'm going to go ahead and book the appointment. And then do it again. Now, what I do is sometimes, if I've got nothing to do or I'm waiting for somebody and I have the app on my phone open, then what I'll do is when this opens up, I will just go ahead and get a prospect. I will say, I won't launch SalesFlow. I will just close this out, and then I'll get another prospect. And then it likes that out. Because these are qualified prospects. Now, later when I have time, what I will do is go back into contacts. and it'll be at the top of my, I'll view all contact lists here. And here we are, the 2 that I did. And as you can see, they have not been assigned to any lists yet. Right over here on the mid left-hand side, it says lists. You can see the 2 below have been assigned to lists because it shows they've been assigned to my prospect list. So what I can do is I can go in later. I can click on Bradford. I can go up here to list, pull the pull down lists, go down, and assign him to my prospects list. He's now assigned, and then I can just go back to all my contacts by clicking right here. And you'll now see that Bradford has now been assigned to the prospects list. Do that again. I'm going to do that with David here. Click on David. Go up here to the top where it says lists. Click on lists. Scroll down to the list I want them on, which in my case is prospects. Okay, I've assigned them to prospects. And then I'm going to go back to contacts. As we can now see, both Bradford and David have been assigned to prospects. Now I could actually assign them to multiple prospects here. I could make them a BBX prospect. I have actually 2 prospects programs that have drip email campaigns attached to them. One for NowSite and one just for SalesFlow. So I know which ones they are because I've set them up internally, but I should actually rename this one like Prospects 1 and Prospects 2 is those lists. I should rename that. But then I can go ahead and do that. So you can download a heck of a lot of prospects. If you're sitting there and you're waiting and you have the app in your hand, you can just go ahead and start clicking like get me a prospect. There we go, we got Robert. And instead of proceeding, just X them out. They'll get me another prospect. X them out. Get me another prospect. X them out. So now we go back to view contacts again. Right here, all contacts. Hit the teal button that says view. As we can see, there's the 3 prospects I downloaded. Again, and then now I can click on later on when I have time, I can actually go in and say, okay, what do we got here on old Matt Tankersley? So I can then start doing my analysis of that information to see if he's indeed a good prospect. And if he isn't, then I can go ahead and add him to a list, like here again, to my prospects list. Right here and say, okay. And then I can go back to contacts. But let's say I went back and found out that, say, Tim here, after reading his information, is not a good prospect. Okay? What I can do at that point, although you don't really want to, what you want to do is I'm creating an archive list where I park these guys. I just change them. But if you just wanted to delete the contact, then you would go to this little trash can right here and you would click on it and it would delete that contact from your CRM management right there. So I know that when you see all the videotapes and everything you see on SalesFlow, all you see him is like Justin gets a contact, he puts it into his CRM, and then they launch SalesFlow, he sends them a message and does a follow-up and does it again. what's really going on in the background is when you set up a list, the only way a list gets set up is if you set up a website. Now, the website can be blank. You don't have to have a website. You just have to have a web presence in the system to be able to create a list. And you also have that website has to be there because the artificial intelligence engine on the platform also creates a newsletter template for you. That website also grants you access to posting on social media from that list. So the website is the key to everything, especially email drip campaigns or SMS drip campaigns, because those operate off of those lists. You cannot send a drip email campaign or an SMS drip campaign, text campaign, without attaching it to a list to have the campaign know where they're sending those messages. Or if the SMS text campaign, knowing where to send those texts if there's a text number. So one of the things we'll be doing is we're going to put this on a very good video this weekend on doing this. Going to go through it, and so you guys will have it. That video will be posted up on the BBX library after it's edited, as it'll also be posted on the AI We Care team video channel as well when it's done, as well as the website in doing that. But what I wanted to bring to your attention this morning is you can click all day and get a bunch of prospects, but unless they have a home or a list to live on, and that list has a website that it identifies with, that you really can't use that data effectively other than direct messages. Okay, so let me stop there. And does anyone have any questions or comments? And don't be shy on me. If you want me to go over something again, please just let me know.
Steve, I got one quick question, and if nobody else does. I know you said it has to be a list, but I still didn't quite get how you create a list. Just like, let's just say prospects to call. I mean, just name it, whatever.
Okay, so let's go. Okay, Mike, that's a really good point. So let me go through that exercise so you can see how I create that website, even though it's blank, to be able to create a list to start working from. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the little megaphone right here, and I'm going to click on it. When I do that, it brings up all your marketing tools. So as you can see on the tabs right here, it defaults to websites, and then it goes to the email module, which controls your newsletter and your email drip campaigns. Same thing with SMS texting, and then social media. And then if you're going to place a geofencing ad, this is the tab you use. And then when we go to assign a domain, we're also going to be doing a video this weekend on how to assign a domain if you have a GoDaddy or a Wix account. We're going to take you through that. And then, of course, also analytics. So here, what we're going to do is I want to add a new website. When I add a new website, two things automatically happen. One, it creates a newsletter. Two, it creates a list. So I'm going to add a newsletter. I'm going to here. And of course, they give you all these beautiful little templates now that you can use to build your own website if you want to. But we're just going to use this blank template right here, Mike. And I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to name this website. Let's call it My Prospects. And we can say annuities. Okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to name the website the same thing. I'm also going to put in here as a URL, in other words, the address for the website, my prospects annuities. Now, I may want to come back later. Well, it looks like somebody already may have this one, but maybe not. Okay, there we go. Not too many spaces. I'm going to assign this category to insurance because that's what annuities are. And we're just going to make it life insurance right here. Okay. At this point in time, it asked me, would you like to activate AI on this website? I don't right now because the website's blank. Okay, so now when I go to next, it has now created a blank website for me in doing that. Now at this point, what I would do, I may later might want to go in and build a annuities website that this list is specifically for, like a landing page or for information or anything like that. But right now, today, we're just going to leave it blank because we don't really need it. So what I'm going to do at that point is I'm going to go ahead and save and exit. Now, a couple of things have happened. As soon as I did that, if I go into my email now, and I go to my email newsletters, and if I go all the way down here to the bottom to my last page, it's created a newsletter template that says what? My Prospects Annuity Newsletter. So that happened because I created that blank website. So if you go open up and edit it, as you can see, it's just basically blank. It's not connected to any. The only list it's connected to, which is right here, is my prospects annuity list, which means that list has been created. And we're going to go see that in a second. But as you can see, this is just a blank newsletter template. And you can go in and customize these. And of course, I do that for you guys. Or if you want to learn, I can show you how to do it, depending on where we're at with you guys. What I want
Okay,
to do,
Steve, you lost me about 3 pages ago. So again, it's not your fault. It's just so much information. All I really wanted to see was where I guess they don't make it easy. I don't know if you can ask Justin about this, but I don't know if he can just make a little receptacle where you can just put prospects to call. I mean, I don't need a website. I just need a place to put them.
well, unfortunately, Mike, the way it is because the connectivity to make everything work together. This is actually the only way it can be done, Mike.
Well, what if you have a guy on a list and you decide he didn't need to be in the news list? He needs to be in the life insurance list. How do you
Okay,
take him from one and put him in the other?
so I'll show you how you do that. So let's go to view all contacts. We're back here in the CRM, which is the Customer Relation Management System. Come on, baby. You're being slow on me. Let me refresh that. There we go. Come on, load her up. Okay. So when I go in here to view all contacts, Mike, okay, let's take Matt again. Right here, let's click on Matt. Over here on lists, okay, When I click that, I've got him assigned to the prospects list right now. Okay? So if I want to take him off that list, I just uncheck that box and I go back down here to that new um, site that I just created, which is where here? My annuities, where is it? I have too many lists, Mike.
I understand.
Well, instead of just taking up any time here, it's on here somewhere. But I can assign Matt to like several lists. Like, oh, here it is right here. My prospects annuity list just popped up. So now I just assigned him to that list.
I see.
But I think he might also be interested in maybe Medicare. So I can assign him to the Medicare list as well. And maybe I think he also might want to hear about, my marketing list. So now I have him on all three lists. You can put him on as many lists as you want. But you have to have a website to create that list. Now what I would do then is with all lists, every list I create, what you really want to do is you want to go into marketing and you want to go into email because the list isn't any good unless you have an email campaign to go with it. So then you would want to create and add a new email campaign. So we would do that by adding it here, filling it in, and we can do that right here because I think I can paste it's still the same. Yep, there it is. And I connect what list I want them to connect to. At that point, I want to connect to my prospects annuity list. And I want to select what email account I want to use. I want to use this one. You can have multiple email accounts in your account. Like with Frank and a couple other guys, like Gary Oliver, we've set up 4 different ones because we have 4 different email accounts for different email campaigns. And then you would just get started. And then when you do that, you can start building an email campaign right here. And those things are the ones I want to help you guys with. And then you would just start building an email campaign on this template right here using the tools over in the black. But that's for another day because I don't want to overwhelm you guys. Well, it's going to make me do something, so let's just cancel out. Let's go back. Okay. So that's how the list is created, Mike. It's not easy. It's not intuitive. That's why when you're ready to do some things like that, want to create a list, just reach out to me, get on my calendar, and we can sit down and it'll take me about maybe 10 to 15 minutes with you. And what I would recommend though is if you want to set up an email campaign, do this in advance. Write 4 different emails that you would normally write to a prospect. So this will be the first, this will be my introduction email. The second one may be a little bit more about the product. The third one will be more about how it works and why you need it. And the fourth one would be, this is why it's a great thing for you. And then we can build everything else around it and doing that. And it doesn't have to be long. As you can see, a lot of these emails that are just in the direct messaging thing are pretty short. What you want to do is start a conversation. You want them to give you their information, and you want to make contact and set up an appointment. You don't want to kill them with too much information. Does that help, Mike?
I appreciate that. One more quick question. Would you say that maybe we need to download 50, 60 people into different categories and then call you?
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, we can start an email campaign, I would say, with as little as many as 10 people on a list.
aren't you afraid you're gonna bore them to death if you send them the same email over and over
No,
again?
no, no, you don't send them. That's why you need 4 different ones.
Well, I know, but once you send those people that batch of 4 emails, then what do you do with them after that?
Well, I either, depend and see how they actually responded. Okay, so let me stop sharing here, and I'm gonna show you a very effective email campaign right now that Gary's actually on his way to Houston right now, but he was up in Oklahoma making a pitch yesterday, and we were talking about it while he was driving, and I don't think he'll mind me sharing this with you. Let me go ahead and get that up for a second. I'll be right back with you. Yeah, I mean, he tweeted me he texted me last night. He goes, "Oh my God, this thing is going gangbusters." I love to hear that. Go ahead and get on here. Let's go to Gary.
So can we take Gary's email campaign and reword it?
Yeah, if you were doing what he's doing this one for United Financial Freedom.
Okay,
Okay, so if you're in UFF, we could probably recreate it and use the same thing for you. So we launched that 2 days ago, and as you can see right here, we sent out 935 emails.
I don't see anything really.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have to share. Yeah, hold on. Thanks, Mike.
Mm.
Oh, I'm forgetting you have to. That's one of the things I don't like about Zoom is you have to do that all the time. Okay, so here's Gary's account, and here's his email campaign right here. And as you can see right here, we sent 935 emails in the last couple of days. 81 of them were opened up. 28 of them clicked through to his website, and I guess the majority of those have already made appointments with him. And he only had 2 unsubscribes. Now that was just the first one. This is what they've got. They get these emails. So they only got the first email right here, as you can see right here, because it's still running. And this is what they receive. This is targeted at real estate professionals. And this is what they're clicking through, and this takes them through to the website to find out about it. The next email they would get would be this one, Mike, which is different. It's worded differently. It's about the same subject, but it's worded differently. And you can go to the website to learn more, or you can watch an amazing video by clicking me right there. Then if they don't react to that one, about 4 days later, they get this one. Again, worded differently. Go to the same website, but here's a different video to watch. And then finally, you get this one right here. And it says, "We do not mean to be a bother. However, a professional like yourself will really be down if your competitor is already using this amazing technology." A little bit more on here, site, and then finally a final video to go watch. All 4 of them are similar, but different. And it's going to tell more and more information on each email as it goes along. So they don't get bored, and these are set up to go 3 days apart. So these people here who received the one yesterday will now receive this one in 3 days, which would be, what's today, the 16th? So they would receive this one on the 19th. This one they would receive on the 22nd. And this one they would receive on the 22nd and 25th of June. So that's how a drip email campaign works and how they're set up. People don't get bored. I mean, I get them all the time. I get dripped on all the time. In fact, I like reading them because it's usually about the third one or the fourth one that I react to. That I'll go and see, well, let me see a little bit more about this. And I'll click through to see what's going on. If I've got an interest.
Steve, what I love about it is, number one, you look up there were 0 bounces, so you have a great list.
Yep.
And you only had 2 unsubscribed. And
That was it.
that's the key. That means that instead of 808, 806 are going to get the next email.
That's exactly right. So this is a very effective way of marketing, and I know I can't wait to see Gary today to find out exactly just how many appointments he's got. So that's how a drip email campaign works, and of course that I can show you the website that that's attached to that we built is right here. So when they click through to go to the website, this is where they're landing. He has a free ebook giveaway here. He's giving them a brochure. And there's Gary. That's why it's important, Mike, you and I have discussed, you have to have all the pieces in place because they all function together. You have to have a website, you have to have the lists, you have to have the newsletter, you have to have the email campaign at a minimum. Then you can lay geofencing on top of that. That just adds to it and gets more traffic to you. And then finally, social media posts that mimic the drip email campaign. And then you're working on a multi-channel effort to build your brand and your message and your product out there to do that.
Well, and we have a lot of websites already built, excuse me, for the BBX agents, but I guess we need to do the email campaign verbiage now.
Right, and that's what I need. That's why, like with Kaizen, I just, I flew from the VIP, and that's why you guys have got it, because I wrote it from after watching the videos. I watched all the videos, and I said, okay, how can I start putting some verbiage into some emails that reflects this with those videos when I attached them and different things like that. So that's why I need you guys to give it the blessing and say, we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I think Charles is working on that now, and I'm going to be working on the annuity side.
Yeah, get the annuity ones, get like 4 written for me, and we'll build that email campaigns for you lickety split so all the guys can use it, and we can change the names to protect the innocent to make it theirs.
So I'm sorry, you said the 4 components were what now? Can you give me those again, Steve? I apologize.
Yeah. This is also being recorded, Kathy, and welcome. And I will be placing this up on the BBX YouTube channel. It's on a playlist on my site, and you will get a link to that Mike will send out to you later today, and that way you'll always have these videos to go back and refer to as well.
Excellent.
Okay, so you need, first of all, you need a website. That's the first step. When you build the website, it automatically generates a template for a newsletter, and then also generates a list attached to that website. And those are the important things. Then you want to build an email campaign to start to go with that website, that newsletter, and that list. at a minimum. That's where you want to start. Then we can start adding and layering social media and geofencing, which is Google Display Network advertising or social media network advertising as well on top of it. And then that'll give you a very effective marketing program to build a brand in the area of cyberspace that you may want to chalk up and make your own. It could be a city, it could be a zip code, it could be a state, it could be wherever you want it to be. And then go ahead and then you become a brand on there. And the more you market every day on those different channels, that affects your SEO score with Google. And the more they see you doing stuff like email campaigns, doing geofencing, posting on social media, and they see the action that's going on to your website, that moves you up in the page rankings organically in doing that. So it's all knitted together. You know, the problem is somebody will just do for marketing, well, I'll just do all my marketing on social media. Social media is just a piece of it. You've got to actually have a place to bring them, what I call bring them home. You got to have a good website that says, hey, thanks for coming here. Here's some more information. And oh, by the way, I'd like to really know you and meet you. Fill out this form and let's get together.
Yeah. I say it's like a chair or a three-legged stool. You got to have all those for it to stand up. With only just one piece, you're totally missing the opportunity. It all goes together. As you say, it connects the dots.
Absolutely, John. You're absolutely correct.
And I think if you and I are working on what we're working on, I think as you go along, you're going to improve your website and your marketing program each day, because you're going to see things that you can improve. And I'm a candidate of plagiarism. I'll just be very honest with you. And, 3/4 of the world is plagiarized, let's face it. But
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
But I personally think that if you're working on something, Google what you're working on and see what your competitors are putting out there. And you may find a piece, you won't necessarily take their site, but you may find some wording that, hey, I never thought about it this way, but man, this presents it better than any way I can say it. So I suggest look for what you're marketing on everybody's website. Take the best of the best.
You know, John, to give you a perfect example, that yesterday I was on Alignable, which is another social media platform, and I happened to have a post sent to me, and it's by a guy named Stephen Harris, who I know. And Stephen and I belong to another group that we attend on Mondays. So I saw him on Monday, and I said, "Hey, Stephen, I love that post that you did on Alignable." I said, "How's it doing for you?" He said, "Man, I'm getting great traction." He said, "I got 4 or 5 appointments out of it." I said, "That was really well written." I said, "Do you mind if I steal it?" And he said, "Absolutely, go ahead and take it." So I'm going to go ahead and post that later today.
Well, and that's where we're blessed that Charles and Mike are working with us and providing some of this material. We don't have to invent the wheel.
No, you
We
don't.
got the wheel. Let's go out there and make the next step and convert the people into sales.
Yep. Okay, well, we're running over 5 minutes over. This has been a good session. Again, I want to implore you, if you want to talk to me offline, give me a phone call, send me an email, or if you want to text me, you can text me. And
Or if you want to text me.
well, Frank, I'm going to mute you here for a second. Yeah. If you want to, I'm going to put my calendar link in the chat. And if you want to set appointment to me, we'll go put it in here. This is my appointment calendar. Okay, and I'll put it's in the chat right there. Okay, and if you want to, I would just go ahead and choose the option that says 45 minutes.
If you want to, I would just wait.
And just choose that option. find a point on my calendar and set up an appointment.
Just choose that option.
And that's if, and, Frank, I have to mute you again, buddy. It's reverberating. Yeah, so if you, set an appointment with me, it doesn't matter if you want to just start from scratch, create a website, or if you're along a little bit farther and have an existing website, we can actually attach the list and the programs to that existing website. So you don't have to recreate the wheel. And we can start marketing for you using the marketing tools. That's actually what John and I are doing right now for him.
One quick thing before we leave. I think you said that we were able to download everything from LinkedIn to our websites now, or is that coming?
That's coming. We'll learn more about that today. I think it's in about a week or two.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to get you're gonna be able to get LinkedIn and also anything from your Gmail contacts, your Outlook contacts as well.
Really? Outlook?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
So that's coming, and I'll know more about it after the meeting today and do that. So, and if you're going to be at the meeting today, I'd love to see you in person if I've never met you. If not, Mary and I will be there, and we'll be taking plenty of video and pictures to post. So we'll have some information for you guys at that thing right now. That's why Mary isn't with us right now. Mary's actually down at the event right now getting things ready.
Now, you will have a meeting tomorrow, so that will give us a
Yep,
wrap up.
yeah, our regular AI We Care team meeting will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. at its normal time.
Okay.
We'll still have that meeting tomorrow. And anyone on this call, I mean, if you're on the BBX list, I automatically attach it to that call anyway, just to let you guys know that you're more than welcome to avoid, because we think of you guys as part of the AI We Care team anyway.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Okay. Guys,
Thank you.
look for
I
the
enjoyed
website.
it.
Yep, look for the link.